Never again should a student be silenced by gunshots. Never again should anyone fear going to school.
The time for change wasn't now. The time for change was years ago.
They survived the unimaginable. 17 of their classmates and teachers gunned down in yet another US school shooting. Now, these students say they will take action where the adults have failed. Hello, I'm Nathan King, filling in for Anna Naidu, and this is The Heat. Hello again. Emotions are running raw across the United States after last week's deadly high school shooting in Parkland, Florida. Authorities say the suspected gunman used a semi-automatic rifle to kill 17 students and teachers at the Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School. Under the rallying cry of #NeverAgain, grieving teenagers and young survivors are staging protests like these against gun violence and demanding gun reform.
Every single person up here today, all these people should be at home grieving. But instead, we are up here, standing together, because if all our government and president can do is send thoughts and prayers, then it's time for victims to be the change that we need to see. We are going to be the kids that you read about in textbooks, not because we are going to be another statistic about mass shootings in America, but because, just as David said, we are going to be the last mass shooting.
Well, America is grieving and the world is watching, and CGTN's Jim Spellman is taking a closer look at how strict gun laws in other countries are working. Let's take a look.
The United States is awash in guns. A 2017 Pew Research Center study finds that about 4 in 10 U.S. adults live in a household with a gun. Most of those households report having more than one gun.
There is a correlation between the availability of guns and the number of mass shootings. Both of them have been going up at the same time, and it's not coincidental.
Other countries have taken strict gun control measures and seen positive results. A mass shooting in Australia in 1996 led to many guns being banned. The government bought back and destroyed hundreds of thousands of weapons. In the years before the crackdown, there were 13 mass shootings in Australia. In the 2 decades since the ban, there have been no mass shootings. A 1996 mass shooting in the UK led to laws banning handguns with only a few exceptions. Within a few years, gun deaths plummeted and have continued to fall since the early 2000s. Japan has some of the most restrictive gun control laws in the world. According to the Council on Foreign Relations, the gun homicide rate there is the lowest in the world. But there is huge political resistance to gun control in the U.S. The powerful NRA gun lobby opposes nearly every gun control measure, and guns are extremely popular in much of the country. Sean Van Driver is a public safety researcher.
We're never going to get to a solution like the UK's had. We're American, and in our Constitution, the Second Amendment guarantees the right to bear arms. So I think we gotta kind of operate within those bounds. But there are some things that we could do immediately tomorrow that would have a drastic effect.
Van Driver suggests limiting ammunition capacity, universal background checks, and requiring firearms safety training could help, even if those measures wouldn't stop mass shootings completely.
Aren't the 17 dead kids worth trying something? Aren't the 20-some-odd dead kids in Sandy Hook worth trying something, anything? Aren't the 50-plus dead from Vegas worth trying anything?
Assault weapons were banned in the United States from 1994 to 2004. A researcher at the University of Massachusetts says mass shootings fell during the ban and have risen sharply since. But there's little chance a new ban could pass in the current U.S. political climate. Jim Spellman, CGTN, Washington.